Congratulations. You've been world champion now for a couple of hours. How does it feel?
Surreal, absolutely surreal. It's sort of been a crazy few hours, crazy day, and I'm absolutely loving it, but yeah, it still hasn't really sunk in, to be honest.
So, talk us through the race. Obviously you had a great swim.
Okay, the first lap wasn't actually that great. I got off to a really bad start, but was because of such a long straight down the side, I managed to make up a few places, and again on the second lap moved myself up again. So I panicked at the start that I was having a bad swim, but it turned out all right in the end. So and the bike was just a case of keeping your wits about you. I think trying not to make any mistakes. Obviously there's a few crashes, so trying to keep out of the way of all that and playing it safe. At one point me and Natalie Milne actually managed to get a break just through better cornering, I think. But we were reeled back in, unfortunately, but it was a bit of fun while it lasted. And then the run was hard work. Having that penalty, I just had to go out hard to try and get that gap initially. Thought if I got sort of more of a psychological advantage over the others, that would help me with taking the penalty, and thankfully it worked.
So the penalty, that was for a wetsuit not going into the box. I mean, were you aware of that at the time, or?
No, apparently I didn't even try. I just sort of threw it to the side and didn't even get anywhere near the box, and I think I was just focusing on the fact that I needed to get on that group that was leaving transition, and in my head I'd put it in the box, but obviously I hadn't at all. So fair.
And when was that actually filtered through? When did you realise that you had the
it was on the second lap of the bike actually. Jodie must have seen it as we went through, and she cycled up to me and said, "No, you've got a penalty." So that was, that's good that she sort of alerted me to it, and then it obviously got the coaches on the side feeding back to you as well. So.
And how, when something like that happens, I mean, we saw it obviously with the Olympics with Johnny. I mean, what goes through your mind? I mean, do you try and change your race plan? I mean, or was the race plan just always to go as hard as you could?
Yeah, I think, I always sort of, the race plan was to go out hard with transition, but that was more to counter Gwen, and then obviously Gwen wasn't in the race. So that's the exciting thing about triathlon, you can't go in with a set plan because anything can happen, like we expected Andy to be there on the run, and she obviously didn't have a good swim and never bridged back up. So you can never plan, I don't think, and you've got to think on the spot, and I think that's what makes people good or not so good at racing, the fact that you can sort of, come up with different tactics and techniques and adapt to the changing race.
So once you actually got on the run then, I mean, obviously the mission was to get enough time to be able to take that 15 seconds?
Yeah, definitely. So I went out hard. I thought if I can make the initial break, they might put me in good stead to take the penalty and not be pushed back too far. And I was quite surprised actually. I think first lap I was about 15 seconds ahead, and I was like, oh, that's still too risky. So on the second lap, I went past with the coaches, and he's like, it's 25 to 27 seconds. So I was like, right, I'm going to take it now. Then I was like whipping him ahead, so they're going to be like only 10 seconds behind when I get out of the penalty box. So I absolutely legged it out of the penalty box. I didn't want them to close the gap and sort of to think, oh, they were back on me, and to spur them on. So I thought if I break them again, that'll, hopefully mean that they don't latch back onto me. And yes, it worked. I think I got it back up to 20 seconds within, pretty quickly. So I was pleased.
I mean, an amazing atmosphere down here, some good spectators. I mean, was it difficult to actually enjoy some of the actual race, or were you able to? I know you didn't back off. You kept running pretty hard.
No, it was fantastic. People talk about the Olympics where it's like a wall of sound, and I'm sure there wasn't as many, obviously not that many as many people here today, but the crowd was still fantastic. I couldn't hear myself breathing, which was a good thing as it turned out, because there was one quiet section and I heard myself wheezing, and I was like, oh god, I'm not sounding so good. So that was good, and they really do just lift you. I think help you block out sort of the discomfort that you're in, and really just keep you pushing, because you want to do well for them as well. All these people have turned out to watch you race, and I feel like I want to do well for them too.
I mean, there was lots of good luck messages, especially even while the race was on Twitter and Facebook. I mean, your friends and family all came down?
Oh, so many of my friends and family were here. It was crazy, and so nice, for someone to make the effort. It's a long way from Swansea, or a lot of them have come from up north, and no, it was great. That's also an extra incentive, you know, they never really get to watch me race live, so I wanted to do well for them too.
So, I mean, obviously winning the Under-23 World Championship last year, I mean, was the goal this year to be a contender?
Oh gosh, not at all, no. When I won Under-23s last year, you know, I was thinking, right, it's going to take a good few years now to establish myself and to gain more experience, and then I was going to take probably a bit of luck as well to lose the Under-23 part of my title, and to be sat here 12 months later it's just mind-boggling. It's crazy. So,
and you've had an amazing season, obviously with some downs as well with the break of the arm.
Yeah, well, you know, I never don't want to be all plain sailing, do you? It's much sweeter when you've had some tribulations. So yeah, that was a pretty tough few weeks with a broken arm, but I have a really good team around me, you know, a really experienced team and supportive team, and we got through it, and there was never really any doubt in my mind that I wouldn't do Stockholm. So.
I mean, you mentioned Jodie in the race, obviously great to have your teammate, and for her to get silver as well, a great day for Team GB.
Oh, amazing, you know, it's always much nicer to stand on the podium with a member of your team, you know, it really shows how far British Triathlon have come over the last few years. Obviously we've always had Alan and John doing well, which is fantastic, but now that we have two girls on the podium as well, which never happened before, it's always just Helen. Like, Helen was our only podium girl for a number of years, and hopefully when she's back next year, you know, there'll be three of us with you know, podium, and maybe some of the others are coming through really well as well. So strength and depth is really there now, and that's great.
Well, I say it's been amazing watching you race. What's the plans now for the rest of the day?
For the rest of the day, I think I'm going to go and get some food. My post-race nutrition strategy has gone out the window today, I'm afraid. So yeah, I'm going to go get some dinner and sort of enjoy spending time with some friends and family, and then after the race tomorrow, with the boys' race, I'm sure we'll have some celebrations.
Well, again, congratulations, world champion.
Thank you very much.